Through it, there must be another way.
Stuck. You all right? I think the word's been out for a while.
We intercept.
Hold on. You good?
Got to Sadari.
All right, put those on. Get them. We're coming from the front.
Roger. Tyler, we got you fixed.
Got it.
One red down. One red down. Shit, we are here. Soldiers, this...
Keep those lights off me. Yeah, feels that way. Don't go.
Hurry! It's supposed to be funny.
아니 지안아 만카는
Nick, you good? Get down! Cover me!
Birds are out.
You're kidding me.
대박!
Figure it out later, mate. Get down! Get going, Nick. Get the boy.
Are you alright?
Good girl.
All right, guys, you're gonna have to get off your asses. It's getting... Go, go, go! You need some help?
Forget Bravo, too hot.
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the adrenaline bone-crunching world of Extraction 2 from 2023. We pick up right where the first one left off, with our favorite Black Ops mercenary, Tyler Rake, played by the endlessly charismatic Chris Hemsworth, taking an unscheduled dip in a river after a rather dramatic fall. Turns out, he's less dead and more critically injured, but still stubbornly clinging to life, which is just Rake's way of saying, I'll be back. His colleagues, Nick and Yaz Khan, find him, pull him out, and whisk him off to a hospital. This is a passion project for me, and a like or a subscribe is the best way to show your support. So if you're on board, join the crew. If not, thanks for watching anyway. What follows is a truly grueling montage of Rake healing, undergoing intense physical therapy, battling fevers, and essentially fighting his way back from the brink of oblivion. You can practically hear the crackle of his mending bones. It's not a pretty sight, but it's a testament to his sheer, unadulterated will to live, even if he's not entirely sure why. Fast forward 9 months, and Rake is attempting the ultimate retirement gig, chopping wood in a cozy, snow-dusted cabin in Austria. It's all very picturesque, very man at peace with nature, except he's still got that haunted look in his eyes, and his body still moves like it's been through a high-speed car wash. He's living a quiet life, or at least trying to, until Nick and Yaz arrive, bringing with them not warm cookies, but a proposition from a very mysterious, very well-dressed man known only as Alcott. Because, let's be real, a guy like Rake doesn't just retire. He merely takes a really long coffee break before the next explosion-filled adventure. Alcott has an offer, a rescue mission that sounds dangerously familiar to Rake's previous last job. But this isn't just any extraction, it's personal. The target is Kedivin, Nick's sister, and her 2 children, currently imprisoned by her ruthless gangster husband, David Radiani, in a Georgian prison. Rake initially hesitant, because who wouldn't be after almost dying, eventually agrees. The pull of helping family, even someone else's, is stronger than his desire for quiet solitude. Plus, let's be honest, chopping wood probably wasn't scratching his itch for high-stakes action anymore. So, the gang's all here, meticulously poring over blueprints of the Georgian prison. This isn't your average Club Med resort, folks. It's a max-security hellhole run by David Radiani, who, it turns out, is a major player in the Georgian organized crime syndicate. The prison itself is a fortress, practically a character in its own right, designed to keep people in, not let them out. Nick, ever the pragmatist, highlights the challenges, but Rake, now fully committed, is already formulating a plan. This sequence is a masterclass in prepping for chaos. We get quick, sharp cuts of them training, gearing up with all the latest gadgets and gizmos, and just generally looking incredibly competent. You hear the crisp thwack of knives being holstered, the metallic clink of magazines being loaded. Rake's back, baby, and he's not just chopping wood anymore. He's sharpening his combat skills to a razor edge, ready to dive headfirst into what promises to be one of the most insane prison breaks ever captured on film. The tension builds with every silent nod and every tightening of a strap as they descend into the belly of the beast, knowing full well that walking in is going to be the easiest part. With their disguises as prison guards, Rake and his team slip through the gates of the Georgian prison. The air inside is thick with the grim reality of confinement. The faint, echoing shouts of inmates and the clanging of metal doors forming a symphony of dread. Every step is measured, every glance calculated. They navigate the labyrinthine corridors with practiced ease, their faces blank, betraying no hint of the audacious mission they're about to undertake. It's the calm before the utterly explosive storm. That quiet tension where you know any second the lid is going to blow right off. The plan is simple, or as simple as a prison break can be. Locate Kedivin and her children, snatch them, and get out. Easy, right? If only life and high-octane action movies were ever that straightforward. The weight of the mission presses down on them. The metallic scent of anticipation hangs heavy in the air, punctuated only by the distant, disquieting sounds of prison life. You can almost feel the chill radiating from the concrete walls. The team locates David Radiani, not in some high-tech control room, but in his personal cell, which, let's be real, is probably nicer than my first apartment. Rake confronts him, trying to get information about Ketivan and the kids. But David is less than cooperative, spewing threats and trying to assert his dominance. He's a snarling, unrepentant beast, thoroughly convinced of his own invincibility within his concrete kingdom. The air crackles with unspoken threats, and the barely contained violence simmering beneath Rake's calm exterior. It's a battle of wills, a silent dance of predator and prey. But Rake isn't in the mood for games. This isn't a diplomatic negotiation. It's a snatch. The moment David realizes what's truly happening, the false calm shatters, and the prison's natural chaos begins to churn. David, predictably, isn't going to let his family just waltz out the door, especially not with a beefy mercenary as their escort. He gives the order, and that's when all hell breaks loose, transforming the prison from a grim holding facility into a full-blown war zone. You hear the sharp, sudden rattle of keys, the distant shout that quickly multiplies, signaling the imminent eruption of violence. And just like that, David's little press, one for riot button, gets pushed, and the entire prison erupts. Cell doors clank open, prisoners pour out like a horde of very angry, very incarcerated zombies, and suddenly, Rake and his team are in the middle of a full-blown melee. It's a symphony of punches, grunts, shouts, and the thud of bodies hitting concrete. This isn't a subtle extraction anymore. It's a full-on, no-holds-barred brawl against an army of inmates who probably haven't had this much excitement in years. Rake, ever the master of improvised weaponry, uses everything at his disposal, from riot shields to his own two fists. Dispatching attackers with brutal efficiency, the sheer volume of bodies is overwhelming, but our hero, still recovering from basically dying, moves with a fluid, lethal grace. Nick and Yaz are right there with him, a whirlwind of calculated violence, covering each other's backs as they try to push through the human tide. The air fills with the metallic temps of sweat and fear, and the deafening roar of 1,000 angry voices, making it almost impossible to distinguish friend from foe in the swirling, surging mass dot through the maelstrom of flying fists and shattered glass. Rake finally smashes through a door and finds Ketivan, Nick's sister and her two children, Sandro and Nina, huddled in fear. Ketivan, understandably, isn't exactly thrilled to see a muscled stranger with a blood-splattered face kicking down her door, even if he is there to rescue her. Her initial reaction is a mix of terror and deep-seated hostility, yelling at Rake, her voice strained from fear and defiance. The children are wide-eyed, silently clinging to their mother, their small bodies trembling. This isn't a warm reunion. It's a chaotic kidnapping, effectively. Rake has to quickly explain the situation, cutting through her panic with the urgency of their predicament. There's no time for pleasantries or emotional unpacking. The prison walls are practically screaming for their blood, and David's forces are closing in. The clock is ticking, and the sounds of the riot are getting closer, echoing through the small room like a looming threat. The frantic thump-thump of their hearts is almost audible, drowned only by the cacophony outside. It's a stark reminder that even amidst all the explosive action, the human element, the raw fear and desperation, remains at the core of the mission. Now, here's where things go from bad to absolutely bananas. Rake has Ketivan and the kids, but they need to cross a massive, exposed prison courtyard, which, naturally, is crawling with David's armed goons. It's an absolute gauntlet, a shooting gallery, and Rake becomes a human shield, literally using a riot shield and his own body to absorb the crack and thud of incoming bullets. This sequence is a masterclass in controlled chaos, a long, continuous shot that keeps you glued to the screen. Feeling every desperate sprint, every close call, you can practically feel the concrete dust kicked up by the relentless gunfire. He's pushing the children forward, urging Ketivan, his focus unwavering despite the deadly symphony of bullets whizzing past. Nick and Yaz provide crucial cover fire from higher ground, their shots pinging off metal, keeping as many heads down as possible. The wind whips past their faces as they run, the chilling sound of ricocheting bullets a constant companion. It's a harrowing escape, a desperate... They finally make it to the roof, battered and bruised, but the nightmare isn't over. More of David's men, probably the ones who decided the courtyard was too much of a public nuisance, are there, waiting. But so is their ride, a helicopter piloted by another member of Nick's team. It's a literal leap of faith as they rappel down to the waiting chopper, still under a hail of gunfire. The worry blades are almost as loud as the frantic crack-crack-crack of rifle fire. Rake makes sure the children and Ketivan are secure. First, then he's the last one aboard, still exchanging fire as the helicopter lifts off. It's a truly spectacular exit, leaving the chaos of the prison far below. A testament to their audacity and Rake's unwavering determination. The relief is palpable, a collective exhalation, but the tension hasn't fully dissipated. They've escaped one cage, but the world outside might prove to be just as dangerous. The biting wind of the open air is a welcome change from the prison's stale stench. But it carries a new kind of chill, the knowledge that David Rediani isn't going to let this slide. Turns out, David Rediani, that charmer, didn't survive the whole prison ordeal. In the confusion, he met his maker, probably at the business end of Rake's fist or some strategically placed bullet. His death, however, lights a fire under his even more ruthless brother, Zurab Radiani. We see Zurab, cold and calculating, arrive. By helicopter, surveying the carnage, and then cradling his dying brother David, his face a mask of controlled rage. This isn't just about family. It's about power, reputation, and a code of honor, however twisted. Zurab, who's been lurking in the shadows, probably coordinating David's operations, now steps into the spotlight. He vows bloody revenge against Rake and anyone associated with him. You can practically feel the chilling weight of his words, a promise of relentless pursuit. This isn't just a threat, it's a declaration of war, setting the stage for an even more personal and brutal confrontation. The quiet, deadly resolve in his eyes is far more terrifying than David's bluster, a grim sign of the relentless hunt to come. The whir of the helicopter blades seems to echo his silent, deadly promise. After the chaos, the team lands in Vienna, a city famous for its opera houses and, apparently, its surprisingly opulent safe houses. They stash Kedivin and the kids in a very swanky, very modern apartment, far removed from the grime of the prison, but the change of scenery doesn't exactly bring calm. Kedivin is still fiercely resentful, bitter about being torn from her life, even if that life involved being held captive by her gangster husband. The children, Sandro and Nina, are visibly traumatized, quiet, and withdrawn. Rake tries to connect with them, especially with Sandro, who carries the weight of his father's actions and the recent violence. It's a stark contrast to the earlier action, a quiet moment where the psychological toll of their ordeal becomes painfully clear. The silence in the spacious apartment is almost heavier than the prison's roar, punctuated only by the occasional quiet sob or the soft shuffle of uneasy feet. Rake's gruff attempts at comfort are almost endearing, if a little awkward, highlighting his warrior's heart that's slowly learning to care. The tension within the safe house is palpable. Kedivin's hostility isn't just directed at Rake for rescuing her. It's a deep-seated anger at her circumstances, at being uprooted, at the death of her husband, even though he was a monster. Observes her, a silent, watchful guardian. Feeling the immense weight of responsibility for these lives, he's just pulled from one hell into another. He grapples with the emotional toll, a silent battle within himself. His past, his own lost family, resonates with the children's plight, creating a bond he hadn't anticipated. It's a stark reminder that even the toughest mercenaries have a heart usually buried under layers of scar tissue and tactical gear. He sees the fear in Nina's eyes, the simmering anger in Sandro's, and it churns something within him. The quiet sigh he occasionally lets out is almost as loud as a gunshot in the subdued atmosphere. This whole saving people gig is getting complicated, even for a guy who prefers to let his fists do the talking, especially when the rescued don't want to be rescued quite so enthusiastically. Meanwhile, back in the land of vengeance, served cold Zurab Radiani is not wasting any time. He's a man of resources, a veritable Lex Luthor of Georgian organized crime, and he's leveraging every single contact, every hacker, every spy in his vast network to pinpoint Rake's location. We see him in his lair, surrounded by screens displaying maps, surveillance footage, and flashing data, a modern-day supervillain tracking his prey. He's methodical, utterly ruthless, and he knows Rake has a soft spot for protecting the innocent, which, in his twisted mind, makes Rake vulnerable. The tap-tap-tap of keyboards and the hushed voices of his operatives create a chilling backdrop to his single-minded pursuit. He's closing in, tightening the net, and you can practically taste the impending doom. This isn't just a pursuit. It's a strategic siege, carefully planned, calculated, and executed with deadly precision. He's not just looking for Rake. He's looking to make a statement. A very loud, very violent statement that no one crosses the Radiani family and lives to tell the tale. And Vienna, that beautiful city, is about to become a very unwilling battleground. Zurab's operatives, a team of highly trained, heavily armed professionals, make their move. They approach the Vienna safe house with the quiet deadliness of a creeping shadow, breaching the building from multiple points. the calm domestic facade of the apartment complex is shattered as they infiltrate their silent steps, echoing the sinister intent. They're like ghosts, appearing from stairwells and elevators, their weapons held ready, their eyes scanning for any sign of resistance. This isn't a random hit. It's a calculated assault designed to overwhelm and eliminate. Rake and his team are about to face the consequences of messing with a major crime lord. And the peaceful sanctuary they've created for Kedivin and her children is about to become a fiery battleground. The hushed creak of a door opening, the silent snap of a silenced weapon being readied. It all adds to the unbearable tension as the hunters prepare to pounce on their unsuspecting prey. You know it's coming, but the anticipation is almost worse than the actual chaos. Get ready for some serious structural damage. Vienna dot, and then, boom. The apartment building literally explodes, turning the serene safe house into a war zone. This isn't a subtle break-in, it's a declaration of total war. Zarab's men storm in, guns blazing, and Rake, Nick, and Yaz are instantly plunged into a brutal close-quarters firefight. The sound is deafening, the rattle of automatic gunfire, the crash of shattered glass, the thud of bodies, and the frantic screams of Kedivin and the children. Rake is a whirlwind of pure, unadulterated aggression, a human wrecking ball. Using every inch of the confined space to his advantage, he's punching, kicking, throwing, and shooting, a blur of motion protecting the innocent. Nick and Yaz are right there, providing surgical precision in the chaos, covering the family, laying down suppressing fire. It's a visceral, bone sequence where every punch feels real, every bullet whizzes by with terrifying proximity. The goal shifts from keeping them safe to just get them out alive, as the apartment crumbles around them, flames licking at the edges of their desperate struggle. The apartment building is now a raging inferno, a testament to Zarab's no survivors policy. Rake, ever the multitasker, is not just fighting off a seemingly endless stream of armed goons, but also ushering Kedivin and the children through the burning, collapsing corridors. The whoosh and crackle of flames fill the air, mixed with the acrid smell of smoke and the constant pop-pop-pop of gunfire. He's a one-man fire department and SWAT team rolled into one, clearing paths, smashing through doors, and ensuring the kids stay close. It's a terrifying gauntlet, a desperate race against time, fire, and a relentless enemy. Every step is a calculated risk, every turn a potential ambush. The heat radiates off the screen, making you almost feel the oppressive warmth and the choking smoke. This isn't just a fight, it's a terrifying descent into a literal hell, where survival is measured in inches and seconds, and Rake's primary focus is keeping 3 terrified people alive amidst the utter pandemonium. He's basically saying, "Excuse me, fiery apocalypse, I have children to save." When the interior escape routes become impassable, Rake decides on a rather unconventional exit strategy, going outside the burning skyscraper. Yes, you heard that right. He uses a construction crane as an impromptu zip line, guiding Kedivin and the children in a heart-stopping descent down the side of the building, because apparently, fire and bullets weren't enough. Now we need heights. This is a dizzying, stomach-lurching sequence where the wind whips past them, and the distant sounds of city life are replaced by the creak of metal and the persistent thwack of enemy fire. Rake is literally fighting gravity and a small army simultaneously, fending off attackers who are rappelling down from above or shooting from below. It's a testament to his sheer suicidal bravery and his commitment to the mission. The sheer scale of this escape is breathtaking, a true hold-your-breath moment as they dangle precariously. Dozens of stories above the bustling streets of Vienna, you can almost feel the burning sensation in his hands as he grips the rope. A gritty, tactile struggle for every inch of survival. It's the kind of thing that makes you think, my morning commute is starting to look a lot less stressful. They manage to get a momentary breather, being whisked away by helicopter, but Zarab is not one to give up easily. He immediately launches a full-scale pursuit, a coordinated air and ground attack that turns the Austrian countryside into a war zone. This culminates in one of the most insane sequences. Rake, Kedivin, and the children end up on a moving train, which naturally becomes the next battleground. Rake is fighting on the roof of this moving train, because apparently, solid ground is just too boring for him. There's a helicopter hovering nearby, spitting bullets, and Zarab's goons are everywhere. A relentless, well-oiled machine of destruction. The whoosh of the train, the thump-thump-thump of the chopper blades, and the constant bang-bang-bang of gunfire create a dizzying cacophony. Rake is a whirlwind of motion, a blur of punches, kicks, and precision shots, moving with an almost animalistic grace despite the incredible speed and danger. It's a visually stunning sequence that just keeps escalating, defying all sense of logic or personal safety. He's probably thinking, my therapist is going to have a field day with this one. The mayhem isn't confined to the roof. It spills into the train's interior, turning each car into a deadly confined arena. Rake is fighting through a tight space, using seats, luggage, and even terrified passengers as improvised cover, okay? Maybe not using the passengers, but definitely fighting around them. It's a relentless, claustrophobic brawl, punctuated by the shatter of windows, the tear of metal, and the constant crack of gunfire. Nick and Yaz are fighting their own battles, clearing paths and protecting the family as best they can, but the sheer volume of Zerub's men is overwhelming. Rake is a master of adaptation, using the train's momentum and tight quarters to his advantage, disarming, incapacitating, and eliminating threats with breathtaking speed and brutality. He's basically playing a lethal game of duck goose through a moving metal tube. With very sharp consequences for being it, you can feel the vibration of the train, the smell of cordite, and the desperate struggle for survival. The train cars become a series of interconnected death traps, each one demanding a new level of resourcefulness from our hero. It's a cinematic triumph, a truly unforgettable action set piece that just doesn't let up, amidst the chaos. Rake gets a momentary glimpse of Zerub himself, but the cunning villain manages to make a spectacular escape. Leaping from the moving train as it barrels through the countryside, Zerub is smart, a true tactician, knowing when to cut his losses and regroup. His escape leaves Rake and the team to deal with the remaining goons and the wounded. The immediate threat is neutralized, but the psychological blow of Zerub slipping away is palpable. The team, exhausted and battered, limps away from the wrecked train, gathering Kevin and the kids, seeking a momentary respite from the relentless onslaught. The screech of the train's brakes and the hiss of escaping steam mark the end of one battle, but not the war. They've saved the family, but at what cost? Yaz tends to Nick's minor injuries, and Rake stares out into the distance. Knowing this isn't over, it's a costly victory, a grim reminder that, in this game, escaping the immediate danger doesn't mean you're truly free. They've managed to survive, but the weight of the chase, the knowledge that Zerub is still out there, looms heavily over them. This escape, thrilling as it was, felt less like a triumph and more like a barely managed retreat. The team, including Kevin and the children, eventually makes their way to a secluded, snowy compound in the Czech Republic. It's meant to be another safe house, a place to lick their wounds and catch their breath. The biting cold of the Czech mountains seems to mirror the chill in their bones, the lingering trauma of the past few days. Rake is still nursing his own injuries, but his focus remains on the family's well-being. Nick and Yaz work on setting up new defenses, patching up gear, and trying to get some intel on Zerub's next move. But the relative peace is fragile. The kids are still struggling, and Kevin's anger and resentment haven't completely subsided. The quiet crunch of snow underfoot and the desolate wind are the only sounds. A stark contrast to the cacophony they just escaped. They're safe for now, but the threat of Zerub hangs over them like an impending avalanche. There's a palpable sense of unease, a quiet dread that permeates the frosty air. This is a moment of calm, but it's the kind of calm that makes you perpetually check over your shoulder. It's the kind of place where you expect a dramatic drone shot to reveal an incoming wave of bad guys at any moment. Here's where it gets complicated, folks, because sometimes the enemy is closer than you think. In a desperate, misguided act, Kevin's son, Sandro, who's clearly been struggling with the death of his father and clinging to the twisted notion of family loyalty, makes a secret phone call. He uses a hidden burner phone because, of course, every teenager needs one for emergencies, and contacts Zerub, giving away their location. The young man, caught between two worlds, truly believes he's doing the right thing, trying to protect his remaining family from Rake, whom he sees as the aggressor. Zerub, ever the opportunist, wastes no time. He sends Rake a chilling video message, a live feed of Kevin held captive with a clear ultimatum: come alone, or she dies. The sudden cold ping of the phone revealing the video shatters the fragile peace. Rake's face hardens, a silent testament to the fury and determination that now boils beneath his stoic exterior. Sandro's innocent betrayal has just upped the stakes beyond anything Rake could have imagined. You can almost feel the weight of his regret, the understanding that his act has inadvertently placed his mother in even greater peril. It's a gut-wrenching moment, and the air is thick with unspoken accusations and the heavy burden of consequence. Well, this just went from bad to why did I ever take this job again? With the ultimatum ringing in his ears, Rake makes a solitary, grim decision. He's going in alone. This isn't just about saving Kevin anymore. It's about holding himself accountable, about facing the consequences of Sandro's actions, and about putting an end to Zerub's reign of terror. He gears up, arming himself to the teeth, his movements economical and deadly. Nick and Yaz are clearly against it, but they know Rake's resolve. This is a personal vendetta now, a one-man army marching into the lion's den. The desolate, abandoned airfield, where Zurab has chosen for their final confrontation, looms large, a perfect stage for a brutal showdown. The wind howls across the deserted tarmac, a haunting prelude to the violence to come. Rake's face is a mask of grim determination, his eyes burning with an almost feral intensity. He's not just walking into a trap. He's bringing the trap down on himself, armed with nothing but his skills, his unbreakable will, and a whole lot of firepower. He's basically sending a very loud, very clear message. You want me? Come and get me. You can almost hear the clink of his heavy boots on the cold ground. Each step a testament to his unwavering commitment to justice, or at least his own brutal version of it. Against Rake's express orders, because they are loyal to a fault, Nick and Yaz follow him to the airfield. As Rake infiltrates the main building, Yaz spots a squad of Zurab's men flanking Rake's position. Without hesitation, Yaz selflessly intercepts them, drawing their fire to give Rake a crucial window. He's a whirlwind of motion, a blur of defensive tactics, but the odds are overwhelming. The rat-a-tat-tat of automatic weapons fills the air. And then, a sickening thud as Yaz is hit, collapsing to the ground. Nick rushes to him, cradling her dying brother in her arms, her face a mask of grief and fury. It's a gut-trenching moment, a stark reminder of the brutal cost of this life. The silence that follows the gunfire is deafening, punctuated only by Nick's choked cries and Yaz's final fading breaths. His sacrifice is a powerful, tragic turning point, a blow that fuels Rake's already simmering rage into an unstoppable inferno. The weight of his death lands with the impact of a physical blow, transforming the mission from rescue to righteous vengeance. You can almost feel the metallic taste of sorrow. Witnessing Yaz's death ignites something primal within Rake. The stoic mercenary, already a force of nature, transforms into an unstoppable engine of pure, unadulterated rage. He lets out a guttural, almost animalistic scream, a sound of profound grief and incandescent fury, and charges headfirst into Zurab's remaining forces. He dual-wields weapons, moving with a terrifying speed and brutality, a whirlwind of fists, feet, and bullets. The crack of every shot, the thud of every punch, the crunch of every bone. It all echoes his pain and his burning desire for retribution. He's no longer just fighting for a mission. He's fighting for Yaz, for every life lost. For every wrong committed by Zurab, his movements are fluid yet devastating, a ballet of destruction, eliminating every enemy in his path with an almost surgical precision born of desperation and sorrow. The air is thick with the metallic scent of gunpowder and the raw energy of his unleashed power. This isn't strategy anymore. It's a visceral, unstoppable force, a one-man army fueled by the bitter taste of vengeance. He's basically saying, "You took my friend. Now I'm taking everything." It's a terrifying sight, the kind that makes you wonder if there's anything left of the man beneath. The monster of retribution. Rake finally reaches the main hangar, where Zurab is holding a terrified Ketavan. The vast echoing space of the abandoned airfield feels small as the two titans finally come face to face. Zurab, ever the puppet master, still believes he has the upper hand. But Rake's eyes burn with an intensity that promises nothing but pain. After a tense standoff, Rake makes a profound decision. He throws his last weapon aside. This isn't about guns anymore. It's personal. This is about raw, primal vengeance. He's going to beat Zurab with his bare hands, making him feel every ounce of pain for Yaz, for David's victims, for everything. The clatter of his weapon hitting the concrete echoes through the hangar, signaling the beginning of a brutal, no-holds-barred hand-to-hand combat sequence. The snap and thud of their blows reverberate through the air, each punch carrying the weight of the entire film's conflict. It's a fight of pure will, strength, and technique, a dance of death where only one man can walk away. You can practically feel the impact of every blow, the strained muscles, the ragged breaths, as these two forces of nature collide in a devastating final confrontation. Get ready for some serious bodily harm, because this isn't just a fight, it's a reckoning. The fight between Rake and Zurab is a brutal, exhausting ballet of violence. Rake, already battered from the entire movie's worth of punishment, is slowly being overwhelmed by Zurab's fresh strength and ruthless cunning. Just as it looks like Zurab might gain the final fatal advantage, Ketavan, who has witnessed enough horror for a lifetime, makes her move. Seeing Rake in mortal danger, she grabs a discarded pistol, probably one of the thousands scattered across the airfield, and with a shaky but determined hand, fires. The bang of the shot echoes through the hangar, startling everyone. Zurab falls, his reign of terror brought to an abrupt, unceremonious end, not by the mighty mercenary, but by the very woman he sought to control. It's a moment of unexpected, cathartic justice, a powerful twist that shows even the most seemingly helpless can rise up. The quiet hiss of Rake's ragged breathing and the thud of Zerob's body hitting the concrete are the only sounds. The fight is over. The clatter of the dropped gun signifies the end of the chaos. The silence that follows is thick with the residue of violence and the beginning of a traumatized peace. It's a reminder that even the most hardened killers can be brought down by an unexpected hand, especially one fueled by pure, unadulterated desperation. In the grim aftermath, Rake and Ketavan are left sitting amidst the wreckage, battered, bruised, but alive. The adrenaline slowly drains, leaving behind only exhaustion and the chilling reality of what they've endured. The distant wail of police sirens starts to pierce the silence, signaling the arrival of official intervention and the end of their immediate, desperate struggle. Nick arrives, finding them, offering comfort and a silent acknowledgement of the heavy cost of their mission, especially the loss of Yaz. They've survived, but the scars, both visible and invisible, will linger. This isn't a clean Hollywood ending where everyone walks away unscathed. It's messy, painful, and deeply real. The cool touch of the evening air on their wounded skin is a stark contrast to the heat of battle. A gentle reminder that life, however altered, continues. It's a quiet, introspective moment amidst the flashing lights of authority, a pause to reflect on the lives lost and the lives irrevocably changed. The click of handcuffs in the distance reminds them that consequences, however delayed, will come. It's a bittersweet victory, one bought with blood and sacrifice. Months later, we find Rake, not on a beach, but in a prison cell, facing the music for all the chaos and destruction he caused. Because even heroes have to deal with paperwork, apparently. But true to form, his time behind bars is short-lived. Alcott, the enigmatic man in the suit who initiated this whole mess, makes a visit. He's got another proposition for Rake, an offer he seemingly can't refuse. A new, even higher-stakes mission in exchange for his freedom. The man clearly knows how to motivate. The clink of the cell door closing as Alcott enters seems to emphasize Rake's predicament, but also the tantalizing promise of escape. Rake, ever the weary warrior, listens, his face revealing a mix of resignation and the familiar spark of purpose. The world needs a man like Rake, even if that man constantly finds himself in the most impossible, explosion-heavy situations. It's a classic, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in moment, a testament to the fact that for some, the life of a mercenary isn't a job, but a calling, a brutal, relentless calling. You can almost hear Rake sigh, here we go again. His silence is a powerful acceptance, a recognition of his own unshakable destiny. It suggests that some lives are simply too wild to be tamed, too essential to be spent in quiet retirement. Rake accepts Alcott's offer, because, let's be honest, what else is a guy like him going to do? Settle down and open a flower shop? Unlikely. The final scene leaves us with Rake and Nick back together, preparing for their next, unknown mission. They're standing side by side, a silent, formidable duo, their faces etched with experience and a quiet resolve. The world of black ops, of impossible extractions and relentless violence is their inescapable reality. They're ready for whatever new dangers await them, forever caught in a cycle of saving, fighting, and surviving. There's a subtle click as Rake fastens a piece of tactical gear, a sound that speaks volumes about his readiness. This isn't just an ending, it's a promise of more to come, a testament to the enduring spirit of these characters who continue to navigate a perilous world. The final shot implies that for Rake, the journey is never truly over, only paused. And for us, the audience, it means there's always another heart-pounding adventure waiting just around the corner, a constant echo of what's next. It highlights the powerful bond of camaraderie in the face of insurmountable odds, and the acceptance of a life lived perpetually on the edge. This life, full of sacrifice and fleeting moments of peace, is one chosen, or perhaps simply fated. It inspires us to consider our own purposes, our own battles, and the profound strength found in perseverance. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this wild ride. Until next time, stay safe, and maybe don't try to extract anyone from a Georgian prison without professional supervision.